Hey Josh, I wanted to leave you some feedback on your rough draft for Essay 2. It looks like you selected a pretty good political cartoon to use for this analysis. I think that there is enough here for you to work with. And there's some pretty good description in here. And I think that the target audience is correct, as is the purpose. Let's talk about some things that you need to focus on for revision. So I'm going to start with lower order concerns first. First off, you want to make sure that you are formatting your submission in MLA. So you need your header your header over here and your heading. Second, make sure that you are being consistent in your capitalization. So you want to make sure that all capital nouns such as China and Trump are capitalized. All proper nouns, I'm sorry. So specific names of people and places and such. So as I said before, I think that there's some good description in here. I would pay attention to the repetition that you're presenting in your sentences. You have a lot of unnecessary repetition that makes your ideas read kind of clunky. So, for example, you say this image here has a word bubble that says take that China, and the person in the image has Donald Trump saying it, Trump in this image, right? So a much clearer way to say this would just simply be, in this image, Trump is holding a rocket launcher and is saying the words take that China, right? So you're including a lot of extra words in your sentences that aren't really helping express your ideas clearly. Instead, it's kind of like slowing the meaning down. So I recommend going through and editing for that. Probably the biggest issue with this draft at this point is there is no clear thesis statement. And that's why this kind of reads like just description floating in space, along with a brief paragraph that talks about audience and purpose. And you've identified the purpose of the image, but you have not identified the purpose of this specific paper, which is your argument. So remember what we talked about in class. A thesis statement for a visual analysis needs to clearly identify the visual elements that you will use to analyze the image. So while you have description and you have talked about audience and the purpose, there's no clear thesis, and there's really not a whole lot of analysis going on here. So I recommend writing a thesis statement about your image outside of the paper, and then re-outlining your papers, meaning, okay, so here's my stance on the image, and here are the key ideas that I will need to unpack in order to prove that thesis for the audience. I think that that's what I would focus on for this. Like I said before, I think the biggest issue is the fact that it doesn't have a clear thesis. But I think once you identify that and make a plan for how you will need to support that thesis in your paper, this could end up being a good visual analysis. But you're going to need that thesis statement. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.